Back. This section of the show is called Ask FPA. You can send your questions to tv@fpalex.com and include your name if you'd like for us to use it on the air. The question tonight is, how can I tell if my teenager has a drinking problem? And here to help me answer that question is my partner at Family Practice Associates, Mr. Raleigh Kincaid, who is our marriage and family therapist. Welcome.
Thanks.
Okay, let's broaden the question a little bit, not just teenager, alcohol in general. Are there situations, warning signs that says, this is a problem?
Well, you know what's really gotten me thinking about this a lot, Dr. Fox, is in my practice, in my therapy, I'm seeing it connected to so many people in so many situations. You know, people that are having more disagreements with their spouse. Oh, and by the way, we're having drinks, or you know, we were out having drinks. So I see it around. So the warning signs that I see are things like, is it even sort of connected with problems that you're having? Like, of course, the big ones, of course, like DUI or bar fights and things like that. Of course, those are signs you're having a problem with alcohol, or very likely that you're having a problem with alcohol. But it also can get into situational problems with disagreements. Would you be embarrassed if people knew how much you drink? Do you hide and drink sometimes? Things like that, which are kind of red flags. And I'm really seeing it's much more pervasive, I think, than people really want to admit that it is.
Now, is there a difference between alcoholism and just a problem with alcohol?
Yeah, well, clearly there is. Everybody who drinks is not alcoholic. Everybody who's had a problem sometimes because of alcohol is not alcoholic. And sometimes, though, you can kind of get hung up in the words and the semantics of it. But if it's a problem that needs to be addressed. And if drinking is causing you health or situational problems, then you need to take that seriously. You need to address it directly and intentionally, not just kind of hoping you get it right, or, gee, I'll do better next time, I'll be more moderate next time with my drinking choices. But to be much more cognitive and aware of what it is that you're doing.
Now, you use the term moderate. We can drink in moderation. Is there such a thing?
That word is really kind of a red flag word to me, because moderation is sort of, to me, is based on how it feels. And if you go on how it feels, if you have one and you still feel okay, two, you still feel okay, three, oops, I don't feel so good now, well, you've already crossed the line. So if you go on moderation, and sometimes people say moderation, and really it's just a code word for saying, I don't really want to talk about how much I actually drink.
Well, I was reading one of your blogs, and I will say that if you get the Family Practice newspaper or newsletter, there's a lot of your blogs with a lot of good information, but you did talk about one of your blogs recently, maybe some guidelines for how much to drink. Is that the right word?
Well, there's an organization that's based here in Lexington called the Prevention Research Institute. Really good research, really good stuff that they've done, been around for 35, 40 years. And they've done a lot of research based on a person's personal risk. And that is personal risk based on things like genetics, which is the biggest one, other factors like situations, your overall health, how much you've eaten, things like that. And they have created guidelines based on that, by which you drink. But some of the general ones for every person, according to this organization, I believe what they say is true, that you never drink more than one drink per hour, and probably no more than 2 or 3 on any given day to stay within a low risk level for any person. And a drink is a drink is a drink. 12-ounce can of beer, 4-ounce glass of table wine, shot of distilled spirits, kind of all the same thing in terms of what a drink is. So if you stick with never more than 1 per hour and no more than 2 or 3 on any given day, you're probably going to be okay, unless you're really a high-risk, high-risk person. And then probably your only best choice is not to drink at all.
Now, we kind of broaden this to talk about everybody, but specifically for teenagers and kids, and I guess it doesn't have to be alcohol. Are there warning signs that we really need to talk to kids about something going on?
Yeah, I think as parents we're always sort of have our radar up, but the big ones are things like grades declining, a big shift in mood or attitude, a big shift in friend groups, even a big shift in the clothes that they wear and the sort of the persona that they put on. Can mean that there's something going on. It could be something as benign as just self-esteem or trying to connect with a group, or it could be something as serious as changes with drugs or alcohol, something like that. So you can't always know what the problem is, but it is important to be aware as a parent, and also it's important to make sure that you've kept the sort of relationship with your child that hard conversation is okay to have. That you develop that kind of relationship with your kid. You don't want to just spring it out of the blue, all of a sudden sit down with the old man who's never talked to you in 12 years, and now he wants to talk about, have you been drinking?
Communication is a big deal.
It's always a big deal.
All right. Thanks for coming in. We'll be right back.